Female reproductive system completed, right? I completed the structure of fallopian tube, structure of uterus, structure of other female external genitalia, oogenesis. I think all these things clear, right? Please answer me.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, in female reproductive system, we have done the 3 layers. Then we have written up to cervix.
Okay. Okay. Now, in the other page, suppose I would like to ask Onirban, do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Tell me in Monday, Wednesday page, how far I actually completed, how far it is completed?
Up to
Sir,
oogenesis.
structure of sperm.
Huh?
Structure of sperm complete আর oogenesis পর্যন্ত হয়েছে।
Yes, sir. After oogenesis, structure of sperm was done.
No, okay. So can I discuss the female genitalia? Vulva? Can you discuss the vulva and the female genitalia?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So after oogenesis discussed, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically in Tuesday Saturday group, I discussed up to the structure of uterus. So here, Deepji, did I discuss oogenesis in your class?
No, sir.
No, sir, you haven't.
So did I discuss the what is called the structure of sperm?
No, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
No.
Yes, sir. Yes, I discussed the structure of sperm.
Yes, sir, yes.
So what I am to start from today a different thing because they are the joint group. In new group, the next day I will discuss the female reproductive. A few things left from the female genitalia. One, hormonal control of the female reproductive system, and also the oogenesis process, and female external genitalia. These 3 things. Remember these things. You can note it down also. These 3 things: oogenesis in female oogenesis, then the hormonal control of it, and lastly the female external genitalia and other accessory organs present in the female body not discussed. We'll discuss in the next Saturday. Okay. Now today we have as 2 pages to come on today. We have to start with the menstruation. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Someone is trying to enter by Galaxy Jesse. Who is he? Let me see. Just 1 minute. And just enter Galaxy Jesse. Who are you? Please tell your name. Just enter the class by device name. Galaxy J6. What is Galaxy J6? Galaxy J6. Someone enters with Galaxy J6. Please tell me your name. Galaxy J6. Just you enter. Who entered the class just 1 minute back? Please tell me your name, otherwise you will be sent to the waiting room again.
Sir, Bidipta Dev.
Bidipta Dev. Why don't you write your name?
Sir, there was a mistake here. I don't know why there.
Menstrual cycle.
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, actually, can you kindly repeat the functions which are performed by acrosome?
Acrosome function. Acrosome function will be discussed again when the time of fertilization. Okay. When I will discuss the fertilization, then I again to discuss the function of acrosome. Okay.
Okay, sir.
This is going to be a 29-day cycle. And cyclic changes occurs during this phase, and the phases of which are menstrual phase, first to 5th day, followed by proliferative phase or follicular phase. Ovulatory phase, secretory phase. Sixth to 13th day, 14th day, 15th to 28th day. So these are the phases that occurs in the menstrual cycle, starting from the menstrual phase, followed by proliferative or follicular phase, then ovulatory phase, and lastly secretory phase. Now, what happens actually? First of all, you know, I think you can remember the structure of ovary. I am showing you again. Can you remember? This is the tunica albuginea. Tunica vaginalis. Sorry, germinal epithelium. And this is the tunica albuginea. And during the menstrual phase, what happens? The endometrium lining gets ruptured and it is lost, along with the unfertilized egg and blood. So this is also called menstrual bleeding. What is actually the content here? The unfertilized egg, endometrial lining, and blood. So it continues up to 1 to 5th day, and at that time, you know, how can it be initiated? Whenever the level of progesterone falls. Whenever the level of progesterone falls, then this low level of progesterone, what happens here actually? हेलो हाँ हाँ क्या বলছেন হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ কি হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ বুঝতে পেরেছি আচ্ছা শুনুন আপনি একটু আমি ক্লাসে আছি হ্যাঁ আপনি কাইন্ডলি একটু দুপুর দিকে ফোনটা করুন দুপুর আড়াইটা 2 PM or 2:30 PM হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ দেখা যাবে ক্লাসে So low level of progesterone. What are the cause behind it? Corpus luteum starts degenerating. When does it occur? When the egg is not fertilized, corpus luteum starts degenerating. And as you know, corpus luteum is responsible for the secretion of progesterone. So as corpus luteum starts degenerating, the level of progesterone will fall. What will happen? Level of progesterone will fall, and as a result of which, the atrius endometrium cannot be maintained, and menstrual bleeding starts. Is it clear to you? I'm repeating it again. You know, from the graphical follicle, suppose that actually unfertilized secondary oocyte is discharged. For example, you see, suppose this is the graphical follicle, this is the ruptured follicle, this is the secondary oocyte. This secondary oocyte is to enter the fallopian tube. It is supposed to be fertilized in the ampulla region of the fallopian tube, but if it is not fertilized, look one thing. The secondary oocyte is discharged out from the ovary for fertilization, but if it is not fertilized, then corpus luteum cannot be maintained. That is, corpus luteum starts degenerating. As you know, corpus luteum is responsible for the secretion of progesterone, so progesterone secretion will fall. And this low level of progesterone, what happens? The low level of progesterone stimulates to secrete follicle stimulating hormone. So after 5th day, the level of FSH or follicle stimulating hormone increases, and so that the proliferative phase or follicular phase begins. Is it clear up to this? From the Graafian follicle, by the activity of LH, for secondary oocyte is discharged out. It is carried inside the what is called oviduct or fallopian tube, but not fertilized in the ampulla. Once the egg is not fertilized, corpus luteum cannot be maintained, and so it starts degenerating. As corpus luteum secretes progesterone, so that as a result of which level of progesterone will fall, and then this low level of progesterone will stimulate pituitary to secrete follicle stimulating hormone, so that the cycle can be or proliferative phase can be initiated. Is it clear after this? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, what happens in this phase? You see, suppose you know there are the primordial follicles, give rise to primary follicle. Two or more primary follicles may be formed. Then give rise to the secondary follicle. give rise to tertiary follicles. And in the tertiary follicle, already secondary oocyte is developed. Then again, under the influence of follicle stimulating hormone, Graafian follicle is formed. Also another layer is there. This is called it's also called mature ovarian follicle. It's called tertiary follicle. And from the thicker internal layer of Graafian follicle, estrogen is secreted. At this stage in the proliferative phase, I am only discussing the proliferative phase here, not these two. So, when estrogen is secreted from the thicker internal layer of the Graafian follicle or mature ovarian follicle, this estrogen stimulates pituitary gland to secrete luteinizing hormone. The role of estrogen is to stimulate pituitary gland to secrete luteinizing hormone. And luteinizing hormone, when the level of luteinizing is found, it actually LH surge occurs at the mid cycle, there is almost on 13th day, and just 24 hours after LH surge, ovulation takes place. So almost on 13th day, LH surge occurs, and 24 hours after the LH surge, ovulation takes place. That means follicular phase, in the follicular phase, we get the LH surge. Level of LH is maximum on 13th day generally, and 24 hours so, and 24 hours after that, ovulation occurs. And these are next phase. Look at the other thing here, estrogen causes, this is the one function of estrogen. Other function, estrogen helps in increasing the thickness of uterine endometrium to 3 millimeter. So once mature ovary in the follicular phase, you know, mature ovarian follicle is formed. Once mature ovarian follicle is formed, it is to secrete estrogen. Estrogen performs two functions. One, it stimulates pituitary gland to secrete LH, and on the other hand, estrogen stimulates or helps to increase the thickness of the uterine endometrium up to 3 millimeter or 2 to 3 millimeter, so that the uterine endometrium can be ready for accepting the fertilized egg. That's why preparation starts here. So this is about the proliferative phase. Look at this, clear or any doubt? Go through it, please. Just 1 minute. Is the sequence is clear? Oh, just I am summing it up. In the menstrual cycle, the first phase is menstrual phase. Lasts for first to fifth day, and during this phase, menstrual bleeding occurs, and in menstrual bleeding, unfertilized egg, endometrial lining of the uterus, and blood is present. So uterine and actually those menstrual flow contains all these things. Basically, corpus luteum is formed after the ovulation, and which is to secrete progesterone. As already secondary oocyte is discharged out from the ovary, which is to enter the fallopian tube through the infundibulum, and in the ampullary region it is supposed to be fertilized. For this purpose, so that fertilized egg can be properly implanted, so progesterone is required to be secreted from the corpus luteum. But if the egg is not fertilized, then corpus luteum cannot be maintained. It starts degenerating, and as a consequence of which, level of progesterone will fall. And this low level of progesterone stimulates pituitary gland to secrete follicle stimulating hormone, so that next cycle can begin. That is the beginning of proliferative phase or follicular phase. In this phase, the ovarian follicles gradually become mature to form ultimately the Graafian follicle. And whenever the mature ovarian follicle is so, these changes under follicle stimulating hormone taking place during proliferative phase or follicular phase. Actually, this phase is called follicular phase because in this phase, follicular development occurs under the influence of follicle stimulating hormone. That's why it is called follicular phase. It is also called proliferative phase because in this phase, thickness of uterine endometrium increases. Here, it is found to become thick up to 3 millimeter by the activity of estrogen. You know, whenever a mature ovarian follicle is formed, from the thicker internal layer of ovarian follicle, or there is Graafian follicle, estrogen is secreted. So gradually level of estrogen increases. Estrogen has a positive charge over the secretion of LH. That means when the level of estrogen increases, it helps in the further increase of the secretion of LH. What happens? Because estrogen once secreted, it performs two functions. First function, it helps to increase the thickness of uterine endometrium. And by the activity of estrogen, uterine endometrium will become about 3 millimeter thick. Other function of estrogen is to stimulate the pituitary gland. Once pituitary gland is stimulated, from this LH is secreted. LH level is maximum on 13th day. Basically, you know, which is called LH surge. When LH level of LH is maximum in the blood, then this situation is called LH surge. LH surge. And 24 hours after LH surge, ovulation takes place. That means up to this LH surge, we can consider it the follicular phase or proliferative phase. Need to remember two things. In the proliferative phase or follicular phase, follicular development occurs, so the Graafian follicle is formed, and from the Graafian follicle, estrogen is secreted, which in turn performs two functions. One is helps to increase the thickness of the uterine endometrium up to 3 millimeter, and secondly to stimulate pituitary gland to secrete LH, because LH is very much required to cause ovulation. Because you know, LH is the hormone which can stimulate some proteolytic enzyme to cause rupture of the Graafian follicle to facilitate release of the egg. That's why this is the role of estrogen. So LH surge occurs basically on 13th day. That is LH surge means when level of LH is maximum in the blood. Generally it is found that when the level of LH is maximum in the blood, 4 hours after that, ovulation takes place. Another thing you need to remember, LH surge and FSH surge occur simultaneously. LH surge and FSH surge occur simultaneously, but the LH peak is higher than that of FSH peak. LH surge, I am repeating again, LH surge and FSH surge occur simultaneously on 13th day, but the difference is that the LH surge is comparatively higher than that of the FSH surge. Clear up to this? Follicular phase, is it clear to you all? What happens in the follicular phase? What are the sequential events? What type of hormones are actually involved here? What type of changes are taking place in the uterus? Clear? Or you can ask me if you have any problem. If you have any problem, you can directly ask me. What is the problem, please? Then otherwise, we go to the next, please. Look at this, please. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Everyone, completed?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
ये
sir.
जो ऊपर আছে পয়েন্ট আউটটা
কোনটা?
সুপার ডায়াগ্রামে যে লাইটের জন্য দেখা যাচ্ছে না
ও টিউনিকা অ্যালবুজিনিয়া। টিউনিকা অ্যালবুজিনিয়া।
सर
Yes, tell me.
सर FSH और LH प्रोडक्शन की सेम टाइम में स्टार्ट हो
Basically, FSH starts early. A bit early that starts, but you know, the FSH secretion is more there will be more secretion of estrogen, there will be more secretion of LH. That's why FSH and LH peak almost occur simultaneously. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
That's why LH peak and FSH peak occur almost simultaneously. Almost on 13th day, you will get the both LH peak and FSH peak. Both FSH and LH. Attain peak level generally on 13th day or sometime 14th day also. Is it clear? After that, can I rub it out?
Yes, sir.
Second phase is ovulatory phase. It will occur on 14th day. Suppose LH starts, that means LH peak. We have discussed 24 hours after that. LH stimulates proteolytic enzyme to cause rupture of Graafian follicle to release secondary oocyte. LH stimulates proteolytic enzyme to cause rupture of Graafian follicle to release secondary oocyte. Is it clear? That's why when the level of LH is maximum in the blood, ovulation takes place. And remember this thing, it is found that just 24 hours after the LH starts, ovulation occurs. Is it clear to you all?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
After that, so in this way, this is the end of ovulatory. So the what happens in the ovulatory phase? Ovulatory phase includes rupture of the wall of the mature ovarian follicle or Graafian follicle and discharge of secondary oocyte from it. Okay? So this much is, and the hormone involved. Sometimes question come, which hormone induces ovulation? Answer should be LH. Which hormone induces ovulation? LH. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I wrap it out?
Yes, sir.
No, sir, please. Done, sir.
Okay. Next phase is on luteal phase. Just 1 minute. Ovulatory phase is followed by luteal phase. What happens here? So what a sequence. Look one thing. After ovulation, after ovulation, the ruptured Graafian follicle gives rise to corpus luteum. What happens here? Secondary oocyte is discharged. rupture Graafian follicle. So gradually, from the ruptured ovarian follicle, secondary the rupture, release of secondary oocyte, it becomes a blood-filled ovarian follicle called corpus lumoricum, which the blood becomes clotted. Then it will give rise to an endocrine gland called corpus luteum. Once corpus luteum is formed, then it secretes progesterone, mainly progesterone, but it also secretes estrogenous. Why progesterone is to secrete? Because as I said earlier, in the meantime, secondary oocyte is discharged out, it enters the fallopian tube. If it is somehow fertilized in the ampulla, then all preparation is required to be made so that the fertilized egg can be implanted onto the wall of the uterus. And to facilitate this, all changes are taking place. Progesterone, once it has another influence of progesterone. Under the influence of progesterone, the thickness of uterine endometrium further increases. Thickness of uterine endometrium further increases. That means now the endometrium is 5 millimeter thick. I think you can remember by the activity of estrogen, the thickness of uterine endometrium was up to 3 millimeter. Now it increases, now it is up to 5 millimeter thick. Uterine endometrium is found to be 5 millimeter thick now. This thickness is required for facilitating implantation. What next? Besides this, as in the implantation of fertilized egg, hardly stimulates uterine gland. Can you remember that uterine endometrium is glandular? I think you can remember that the uterine endometrium is glandular, and then this stimulates to gland to secrete watery mucus. So in the secretory phase, the changes that occur: one, the uterine endometrium, the thickness of which increases further. Now it becomes 5 millimeter thick. Earlier, by the action of the estrogen, the uterine endometrium was only 3 millimeter, up to 2 to 3 millimeter thick. Now, by the activity of progesterone, it becomes 5 millimeter thick now. This is the first thing, because this thickness is very much required to facilitate implantation of fertilized egg onto the wall of the uterus. Second, obviously, already discussed, the role of progesterone is to help in the implantation of fertilized egg. As you know, you get it later on, that fertilized egg means is actually the blastocyst stage. Remember this thing? The fertilized egg gets implanted onto the wall of the uterus when it is found in blastocyst stage. That means zygote cannot be implanted. Remember this thing, which is to be implanted? At least a 8 to 16 cell or 16 cell blastocyst. At what stage it gets implanted? On blastocyst stage, the fertilized egg gets implanted onto the wall of the uterus. Remember this thing. The stage at which fertilized egg gets implanted is blastocyst. Or you can write at blastocyst state, fertilized egg gets implanted onto the wall of the uterus. Okay. Thirdly, progesterone is found to stimulate uterine gland to secrete watery mucus, which is sometimes nutritious also, to provide nutrition to the blastomeres attached to the uterine wall. So this is the secretory phase. If the egg is fertilized, then this is the secretory phase. But if the egg is not fertilized, then obviously there is no question of implantation, there is no question of other changes. So if the egg is not fertilized, then signal comes to corpus luteum, which cannot be maintained, so that it starts degenerating, and as a consequence of which the level of progesterone will fall, and low level of progesterone cannot maintain the uterine endometrium. So the uterine endometrial layer is broken down and it is discharged out in the form of menstrual flow. Already I discussed it. Is it clear to you now?
স্যার
বলো।
স্যার কর্পাস লুটিয়াম থেকে সিক্রেটস এস্ট্রোজেন, এটা কি লিখেছো উপরে?
Corpus luteum secrete one progesterone, second estrogen.
ওকে স্যার।
Blastocyst actually is not related to estrogen. Blastocyst is the stage at which the fertilized egg gets implanted on the wall of the uterus. Okay. Blastocyst is not related to estrogen here. Basically, blastocyst means what is written blastocyst? Actually, it is actually to make you understand that at what stage the fertilized egg gets implanted onto the wall of the uterus, it is the blastocyst stage. Is it clear? The change is clear?
Yes, sir.
Another thing most important you want to see that progesterone, as I said earlier, it has to increase the thickness of uterine endometrium up to 5 millimeter, and it has in the implantation of fertilized egg. Most important thing, suppose whenever by the activity of progesterone, the uterine endometrium is already suppose 5 millimeter thick. It doesn't mean that the task of or role of progesterone is over. No, because if the egg is fertilized and gets implanted on the wall of the uterus, then throughout the period of pregnancy, the level of progesterone is required to be maintained. The normal level of progesterone is required to be maintained. And if it is not, then the fertilized egg that gets implanted on the wall of the uterus can be aborted anytime. That's why to maintain the thickness of uterine endometrium, the level of progesterone is always required to be maintained. Are you getting me? To maintain the thickness of the uterine endometrium so that the fertilized egg can be implanted safely, the level of progesterone is required to be maintained throughout the period of pregnancy. That's why if in case of some mother whose progesterone level somehow drastically falls, leading to the abortion, then it is advised to take progesterone injection at an interval to maintain the level of progesterone in the body of the female. So this is most important. So that's why it is not doesn't mean that once the implantation is over, once the thickness becomes 5 millimeter, so the task of uterine endometrium is task of progesterone is complete. No. The progesterone's role is found throughout the period of pregnancy. Yes, one thing happens that whenever you will get it later on, whenever placenta is formed, whenever the placenta is formed, then the load of corpus luteum to some extent decreases. Why? Because the placenta can also secrete progesterone and estrogen, like that of corpus luteum. Are you getting me? Is it clear? What happens if fertilization doesn't occur, and what happens if fertilization occurs? You need to know both of them. Sometimes after the secretory phase, two things may happen. Either the egg is not fertilized, in that case, menstrual flow begins, and then the changes required to be understood. And if the egg is fertilized, again some changes are to take place, and you need to remember these changes also. So remember this thing: the egg may be fertilized, may not be fertilized. Whatever it may be, we need to remember the sequences occur due to fertilization of the egg or due to non-fertilization of the egg. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Now coming to the next. You see the hormonal rule. Now we have to see the hormones here. First of all, FSH and LH. Up to fifth day, if you go to the structure here of the uterine endometrium, this is the menstrual bleeding phase. Then gradually it increases, the thickness increases further. Just a minute, please. হ্যাঁ কবিতা একটু পড়া কথা দাও হ্যাঁ পড়ো আমি পরে একটু পরে কথা Now look at this diagram, most important, the level of hormones at different times of the menstrual cycle and dates given. And this is the uterine endometrium. So this is the next cycle. This is what about the menstrual cycle. And you see here the developing follicle. And this is called the Graafian follicle. This is called the ruptured follicle. And you know this is the secondary oocyte. This is what about the level of different hormones at different times of the menstrual cycle. This is the thickness of uterine endometrium. You see it gradually increases by the activity of progesterone. Clear to this? Look at this. Look at this piece. Just 1 minute. Completed?
చదువుతున్నా.
Completed? You understood? Now is it clear to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Rub it out.
স্যার একটু দাঁড়াও।
Yes, sir.
ঠিক আছে স্যার।
Okay. After that, now, so now menstrual cycle. Now here there are two terms you need to remember. Menarche and menopause. Refers to first menstruation that occurs at puberty. This is the menarche. Menopause refers to the cessation menstruation. Clear? So this is what about the now after that we need to proceed towards the other structure. Can I rub it out, please?
Yes, sir.
Now, as secondary oocyte, we are proceeding towards the fertilization, so we need to go to the structure of secondary oocyte first. Just a minute, please. So you see here, egg nucleus, look at this. This is the structure of secondary oocyte. So you will get the outermost wall layer is the coronary radiator, inner to coronary radiator, and in between the cells of coronary radiator, some cementing substance present and called the hyaluronic acid. Inner to coronary radiator, you will get Juna pellucida. Then, in between the vitelline membrane and Juna pellucida, a space is developed which is called perivitelline space. And in the cytoplasm, you will get the egg nucleus, and here you will get these granules are called cortical granules. Now, acrosome of sperm. As I said earlier, corona penetrating enzyme, hyaluronidase, guanylysine. Actually, it's called spermlysin. Corona penetrating enzyme, hyaluronidase, guanylysine. corona penetrating enzyme is to degrade the coronal cells of corona radiator. The role of corona penetrating enzyme is to degrade the cells of corona radiator. Hyaluronidase is to degrade the hyaluronic acid structure found in between the corona radiator cells. And guanylysin is to degrade the zona pellucida. After that only the sperm head can enter the egg cytoplasm, otherwise not. So this is the basic structure of secondary oocyte, and you know these cortical granules, whenever the sperm head enters the egg cytoplasm, then these cortical granules are shifted onto the perivitelline space, and here these granules aggregate all contents to form a membrane called fertilization membrane. So the role of cortical granules to form fertilization membrane after being shifted to the perivitelline space. But remember this thing, these cortical granules can only be shifted to the perivitelline space once the sperm head enters the egg cytoplasm, not before that. Once sperm head enters the egg cytoplasm, then only cortical granules can be shifted to the perivitelline space to form a fertilization membrane. And you know the role of fertilization membrane is to check the further entry of any sperm after the entry of the first sperm into the egg cytoplasm. So remember this thing. Now, is it clear to you the structure of secondary oocyte? I will be discussing how sperm is going to enter later on during fertilization. But is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt?
স্যার আবার একটু বলবে বলতে স্পার্মটা কিভাবে এন্টার করে?
আবার বলবো পরে তুমি একটু বলতেছি দেখো। Whenever sperm, actually there is actually agglutination reaction also occurs. I will be discussing it later on. But in what happens actually, you know, sperm head is to enter the egg cytoplasm. This is the egg cytoplasm. For this, a passage is required to be formed like this. And how can this passage is developed? This passage is developed if the cells of corona radiata and the hyaluronic acid structure present in between the cells of corona radiata are broken down. As you know, acrosome of sperm. Actually, you know, whenever sperm enters the female genital tract, it is covered by a cholesterol and glycoprotein coating, and in the female genital tract, this coating is required to be removed out. And after that only, from the sperm head, acrosome can release the sperm lysine. Okay. Now, as I said earlier, to facilitate the entry of sperm into the egg cytoplasm, a passage is required to be developed. So how can this passage is formed? You know, cells of corona radiata and cells of zona pellucida are required to be cells of hyaluronic structures required to be broken down so that sperm can come in contact with the zona pellucida. Suppose it comes in contact with zona pellucida now. Once the sperm comes in contact with the zona pellucida, then the sperm head is found to bound to the zona pellucida factor 3 present in the zona pellucida layer. A specific factor is present here called ZP3. The sperm head binds to ZP3. ZP3 means zona pellucida factor 3. So what happens here? Sperm head binds to ZP3. Once sperm head binds to ZP3, then what happens? Then you know the sperm acrosome is stimulated to release guanylysin. Now guanylysin is slow. Guanylysin can only be released if sperm head can bind to the ZP3. Once sperm head binds to ZP3, then from the acrosome of sperm, guanylysin is secreted which is to degrade the Juna velocity layer at this specific point. So sperm is to enter through this, so Juna velocity is to be destroyed here, so that sperm head comes in contact with this and eventually diffused inside the egg cytoplasm. So this is what actually happening. As it happened, repeating it again, from the acrosome, sperm lysine is released. Sperm lysine includes a number of enzymes like corona penetrating enzyme, hyaluronidase, junolysine. Corona penetrating enzyme's role is to degrade the cells of corona radiata. Hyaluronidase is to degrade the hyaluronic acid structure is found in between the cells of corona radiata. Then whenever the sperm head comes in contact with ZP3 of Juna velocity layer, then only ZP3 of the Juna velocity layer, then only from the acrosome of sperm, junolysine is secreted. Once junolysine is secreted, it is found to break the Juna velocity layer at a particular point. Not throughout, it is not that the all along the length, Juna velocity is broken down. No. At a particular point where the sperm is to enter, here Juna velocity layer is required to be broken down so that the sperm head can be diffused into the egg cytoplasm, So this is what happens. Are you getting me now?
Yes, sir.
So remember this saying, there are certain areas where the sperm is to enter. But before that, after that and later on, female reproductive growth is completed, male reproductive is completed. Now secondary oocyte is released out. It already enters the fallopian tube. Now it is supposed to be fertilized. And for this, the sperm is to enter the female genital tract. To facilitate this, sperm is required to enter the female genital tract. And then, in the process of fertilization, certain processes are to be followed and we need to go through this process. Did you not read the fertilization? First of all, as I said earlier, capacitation is there. In the fertilization process, first capacitation. Second is the, after capacitation, then acrosomal reaction. Due to acrosolization, ultimately sperm head comes in contact with the vitelline membrane of the egg. So that next reaction is the cortical reaction. The cortical granules present inside the cytoplasm of the sperm are shifted to the perivitelline space. After that, karyogamy occurs. Because you know, before the entry of the sperm head into the egg cytoplasm, the cell cannot undergo second meiotic division. So that's why second meiotic division is required, and hence it occurs just after the entry of sperm head into the egg cytoplasm. That's why if in any secondary oocyte, the sperm is not going to enter, in their case, there will be no second meiotic division, rather only first meiotic division occurs. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So in my next class, I have to start with this, from this point, that is from the fertilization. So next I have to start the fertilization, after that embryonic development. So any doubt from any point of time?
Sir, tomorrow we will have class. Sir, tomorrow?
Tomorrow means Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Obviously your class is at 6 p.m. or 6:15 p.m.
Okay, sir.
And the Monday, Wednesday base, your next class will be on Monday. Oh, no. Today is Monday, no? Next class will be on Wednesday. Sorry.
আচ্ছা স্যার, আমার একটা কোশ্চেন ছিল।
Oh.
স্যার, এস্ট্রাস সাইকেলের কম্পারিজনে মেনস্ট্রুয়াল সাইকেলের অ্যাডভান্টেজটা কি?
Basically, you know, in estrous cycle, basically what happens here, the membranous structure, uterine membrane, or the unfertilized eggs, What about the rupture? Obviously, it is ruptured, but this ruptured part cannot be expelled out from the body. That means here, these parts are found to be absorbed. But in case of menstrual cycle, whatever it is found, these parts are found to be, what happens to this part? These parts are found to be released out from the body. Now you see, in case of menstrual cycle, basically the females are found to reproduce, or basically the reproduction occurs only in a particular period of time, which is called heat period. But those who are undergoing menstrual cycle, here reproduction occurs throughout the year. Okay, are you getting me?
স্যার আমার প্রশ্নটা ছিল যে এস্ট্রাস সাইকেলে সিজন পার্টিকুলার সিজন থাকে কিন্তু মেনস্ট্রুয়াল সাইকেলে অল
Throughout the year, they can participate. In case of
So, reason
menstrual
that
cycle, it occurs throughout the year. Remember this thing. This is the basic thing here. An advantage is obviously, you know, that at a regular interval it is passed out and new endometrium is developed, and so that a placenta will be ultimately be formed. And throughout the year, actually, remember this thing, the astral lining and menstrual lining. The difference is that astral lining is also released out, menstrual lining also released out, but one is absorbed. The difference is that in case of astral cycle, reproduction occurs only a particular period of time, and in menstrual cycle, where reproduction occurs throughout the period of time. This is the difference.
না আচ্ছা আমার একটা কোশ্চেন ছিল যে এস্ট্রাস সাইকেল পার্টিকুলার পিরিয়ড অফ টাইম কেন হয় মানে অল রাউন্ড ইয়ারের বদলে
Because actually what happens here, only at a particular time, you know, that this uterine endometrial development occurs. Are you getting me? At a particular time,
Yes.
some hormones are secreted to facilitate the growth of the uterine endometrium, to increase the thickness of uterine endometrium. Otherwise, although the egg is released, it cannot be what? The egg is fertilized, it cannot be implanted. Clear?
ইয়েস স্যার
Hello? Hello? Okay. Can I close now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.